Why would you want to go to cameo.com and have a personalized shout out? Come to nowondeck.com, find me, Ron Hall, and I'll do one just for you. Birthdays, anniversaries, whatever you want, a personalized video or audio greeting for you now on nowondeck.com. Good Tuesday evening. Hang on. Got to get the camera in focus. There we go. I think the weather is playing havoc. Good Tuesday evening, everybody. It's time to jump into the fire. Ron Hall here. Hope everybody has enjoyed a cool but gorgeous day in Chattanooga. Sun was out. An absolutely beautiful, beautiful day. Be ready for the bad stuff tomorrow because it's supposed to rain, and I don't know, is the temperature even going to get above 40? So that's going to be a really, really cold rain, and that's just not fun. But welcome to Chattanooga, Tennessee in December. Hey, Christmas next Friday. Hope everybody's ready. We hope that you keep the gatherings small. We hope you keep them small. Today was the biggest day ever in Hamilton County, 510 new cases of COVID-19. Mayor Coppinger, it's time to do something more. You've done the mask mandate. It's time to shut the bars down and cut restaurant capacity to a minimum of 50%. We have got to stop crowds from gathering. It's got to stop. This is not going to get any better. And I have heard rumor of a rooftop birthday party downtown tonight. I don't give a shit that it's outdoors. Shouldn't be happening. You're putting people at risk, and it should not be happening. So, Mayor Coppinger, it's time. Shit or get off the pot. Close the bars. Cut restaurant capacity. Limit crowd sizes. Hospitals in Chattanooga are stretched thin to begin with. And the problem is only going to get worse unless you man up and do something, because you're going to have to. Next week, we will be joined by Keon Rose, sports director at Nooga Radio 92.7. Probably next Thursday night. If Alan is out there, I was channel surfing radio, and I noticed Press Row wasn't on today. Canceled, maybe? We can only hope. Since they fired Turkey of the Year, Jay Greason, why not cancel the damn show? Never know. Maybe somebody will let us know, because you're wasting your 2 to 3 hour with Weston Wamp. If everybody's heard this by now, on the floor of the Senate today, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell congratulated President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris. Now, there is a news rumor being circulated all over this afternoon that President Trump is demanding to speak in front of the Supreme Court. It's time. Mr. President, concede. It's over. There was no voter fraud. I'm going to go on the record. Had the pandemic not hit, this was just, the stars were aligned and things happened which led to his defeat. First, the pandemic. Then George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and all of that happened. And had that not happened, my gut tells me he would have probably been reelected. But when you take everything that has happened in 2020, people said enough's enough. Let's change the dynamic. There you go, and you get President-elect Joe Biden, who has, I think it was announced today that the inaugural ceremony will be very small. They are urging people not to come to Washington for the inauguration. You can bet your last dollar bill that the moment he is sworn in, the first executive will be a national mask mandate on all federal properties. If you go to the courthouse, you go to the post office, anywhere that is part of the federal government, you'll have to have a mask on. I'll bet you a dollar bill right now that's first executive order. Speaking of COVID, real quick, keep Channel 9's Bill Race in your thoughts and prayers. He is battling it. Last word I heard is he is hospitalized, and nobody in this town knows as much about professional wrestling as Bill Race. He is Chattanooga's biggest mark. He loves it. He knows the business, and genuinely a good guy. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers while he battles COVID-19. You never know when it's going to strike. And a damn rooftop birthday party is not the thing to have right now. So, Tennessee high school sports are on pause until after the first of the year in Hamilton County. I think they are in Bradley County. North Georgia's wide freaking open. Come on, guys. Quit acting like your governor. Shut it down. I understand how important it is to the kids, but the health and safety of the general public should take priority. News broke this weekend, and it has become, okay, thanks, Alan, canceled until January in Bradley County. My gut tells me they won't start back for a while. That's my gut feeling. They're not going to start back for a while. We got camera off. There we go. All right. There we go. Whatever reason you got to do that, and then get the camera straightened out. I just don't think they'll start back. But news broke this weekend, and it has been made official. The Cleveland Indians are no more. They have dropped the name Indians. And it has become the focus of every, I don't know the right word to describe it. They call people snowflakes who have an issue with something that they don't agree with, so they call them snowflakes. And it's an individual decision for each team. They feel it is in their best interest. It's kind of like with the Washington Football Club. Nike told them if they didn't change the name, bang, we're out of here. And that's too, and a lot of their corporate sponsors for the Washington football team said if they didn't change the name, if they didn't drop the name Redskins, they would pull their money. Can't afford to lose that kind of money. It's my understanding the same thing was going on in Cleveland. They were being told, we're going to pull money if you don't change the name. That's just the way the world is now. We got to learn to live with it. But just quit getting on social media and whining. Look at it from the Native American point of view. It does offend some Native Americans. What does it hurt to change it? I know it's been around for over 100 years, but things change. We experience the same thing right here in Chattanooga with Chattanooga Moccasins. A group of Native Americans confronted the university, and the university said, okay, we will drop all references to Native Americans. We will become the Mocks, short for mockingbird. And there's no need in getting upset about it. Nothing is going to change. If a team changes their name, they change their name. It's like people seem to forget. You have a team in the NBA in Washington called the Wizards. That's not their original name. They started out as the Baltimore Bullets. then became the Washington Bullets. Then they changed the name to the Wizards because the Bullets, they felt it condoned gun violence. And this was what, 20 years ago when they did it or more. Nobody got bent out of shape. But why is it that Jim Johnny Joe Caucasian is all upset about it? Things change, folks. Chalk it up to times changing and move on. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs said they will not. And the Atlanta Braves have stated publicly they have no intention of dropping the Braves name. Because, I mean, you got to think about it, if it's the state of Georgia and they did decide to drop the name Braves, somebody would want to rename them the Atlanta Crackers. Then Jim Johnny Joe up there in North Hamilton County on the other side of the river would have reason to be upset. He'd be upset because they called him a cracker. But he's all pissed off because they dropped the name Indians. Doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect me. In the grand scheme of life, it is not consequential that the Cleveland Indians are changing their frickin' name. And maybe my parents are going to get mad at me because I changed my name when I turned 18. I was no longer Ronnie. You'll see people comment during our shows, Ronnie. And you'll see them. That means they've known me for a very, very long time. And that's how they knew me. But when I turned 18, I thought, oh, hell, I'm a man now. So I'm going to change it to Ron. I hope my parents aren't pissed at me. And I do agree, Alan, I hope they did cancel that show. I really, truly do. Because not only was he the turkey of the year, but, you know, I've got a couple of these I'm going to give out tonight. I have a new, this is going to take the place of the piece of shit list. I've got a brand new merit badge. Does everybody remember the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts and the Cub Scouts and all that? You got merit badges for accomplishing something. So not only was Jay Greason our turkey of the year, we're going to give him our first asshole merit badge. Now I got another one to give out. I know everybody has heard the financial guru, Dave Ramsey. Personally, I don't believe in half the shit he says. I really don't. But he's got people that eat him up like drinking the Kool-Aid in Jonestown. So if you agree with him and his principles work, that's fine. More power to you. However, this weekend, he hosted over 1,000 of his employees in Nashville, indoors, with a Christmas party, no masks. Asshole merit badge number 2 goes to Dave Ramsey. That's just something new. Thank you, Angie, for putting that in my brain. Angie down there in Florida, where it's going to be nice. And we're going to have rain and not even 40 degrees tomorrow. It's going to be so much freaking fun. If you hadn't heard, President-elect Biden named Pete Buttigieg as Secretary of Transportation. Mayor Pete, seems like a decent enough guy. And in the immortal words of the Seinfeld episode, not that there's anything wrong with it, I don't care about his life, his personal life. He seems decent enough, and he, hey, how hard could that job possibly be anyway? My question is, did Attorney General Barr just want to get out of the shitstorm around the White House? And he said, I've had it. I'm out of here next week. Yeah. Yes, Greason is still employed at the TFP, but it's his statements in the TFP that got him shit canned at ESPN radio. And it's Kurt Tucker and Cowboy Joe this week on Sport Talk, because I think Cumulus 102.3 KZ10 sucks. Nash Icon, home of the bro. Well, both country stations play nothing but freaking bro country music anyway. I think they still are doing cost-cutting measures, and you work a week, you're off a week, And everybody, they have virtually, I think they have 1 or 2 people in the studio, and everybody else is operating from home. I know Quake has been working from his home down in Ringgold since this pandemic started. Tonight, do they play tonight? I don't know. But even though there is an empty McKenzie Arena, they are using public address announcers. And that's because the games are on the ESPN platforms. So it gives you a real game feel. And as you all know, I elected not to be a part of it until COVID is over, or at least I have received my vaccine. No, I'm not going to do it. So let's hope that, I get a vaccine before the supposed spring football season starts. However, my gut, here's another gut feeling. My gut tells me there won't be a spring football seasoning this year, not for college football, because these numbers are not going to go down by February. And if they are played, it will be played before no fans. So why even bother? Just retool and hope that things have really, the bottom's dropped out of the COVID numbers by the time fall gets here in 2021. Just scrap it. Don't try it. Okay. But if I'm not vaccinated, I will not be returning to a microphone until I have been vaccinated. And everybody knows that. So who knows? I may never get back behind the microphone again. But another baseball tidbit is that my understanding, the Major League Baseball Players Association, hey, Scotty Kilgore, the associate head coach for Chattanooga Mocs softball. What a great man he is. Major League Baseball Players Association, excuse me, T went down the wrong way. It's not the cigar smoke. That they do not want to start the season before May. So we could have another short baseball season in 2021. Realistically, I kind of like the 60-game season. Scotty, I'm doing as well as can be expected. Everybody at the university knows I won't be back until COVID breaks or I get a vaccine. I just can't take the risk. I miss it, but I mean, just when we got started last year, the season got stopped. And I wanted one more spring with Emma and the rest of the bunch. So I've got my fingers crossed that I can get a vaccine before softball season starts. And the only thing I'm hurt by, Scotty, is that Carmen Kaler is going to committed to UT Martin. I would have loved to have seen her blue and gold. I've known them for so long, and I would have loved to have seen her in blue and gold. But Players Association wants to push back the start of the baseball season. And I'm telling you, like I said a minute ago, I truly enjoyed the 60-game season. Little sister Janet Ashford, formerly known as Janet Sullivan, affectionately refer to her as my baby sister, had surgery today. Keep her in your thoughts and prayers also. There's nothing more boring than watching a baseball game in July, watching a baseball game on television, let's put it that way. If you're in the ballpark, love it. There is something about, and I'm going to throw it in, there's something about baseball and softball, especially college softball and professional baseball, that I am addicted to. I love it, but I can't watch it on television. It's a freaking snooze-a-palooza on television. And it's just 60-game season was great. The playoffs were good. It was just enjoyable. Now, the Players Association will never agree to a permanent 60-game schedule. But until this pandemic's under control, why not? Works. You had limited attendance at the World Series. You can do that. What my fear is now that the NFL season the regular season is wrapping up and we get into the playoffs. Super Bowl is in Tampa, Florida. And Governor DeSantis does not give a shit. He's kind of like Governor Kemp in Georgia and Governor Lee here in Tennessee. He does not give a shit. He has already said there will be a packed house at the Super Bowl. Let's hope that the NFL steps in and says, no, there's not going to be a packed house. We can only hope. And I'm just hoping that the Titans can stay on this, continue to play like they played Sunday against Jacksonville, because I would like to have another showdown for the AFC Championship with the Kansas City Chiefs. Although it'll have to be out there again because the Titans are going to have no way of getting home field. They may get home field wild card weekend. But after that, it'll be just like last year. They're going to be on the road. And they did it last year on the road. Got to the championship game. So, if I'm a Tennessee fan, or if you're a Tennessee fan, do you just ride it out and let Jeremy Pruitt come back next year, or do you can his ass and tell him to go on? Let him stay. Yeah, it is what it is. Perhaps I misjudged the entire situation. And in the back of my mind, I thought, okay, Jeremy Pruitt is a Nick Saban guy. But then you hear people like Aaron Murray, who former quarterback at Georgia, and Pruitt did spend time on the staff at Georgia, and he did not have very flattering words for Jeremy Pruitt and his personality. Philip Fulmer would probably name himself as head coach. The decline in Tennessee football was really starting under Philip Fulmer. The right guy was hired to replace Philip Fulmer, Lane Kiffin. The only problem is the dream job opened up for Lane Kiffin. His dream job opened up at USC. He had to take it. He had to take it. And it has been the Keystone Cops ever since. Butch Jones was not as bad as his detractors make him out to be. He was a cliche waiting to happen, brick by brick, champions of life. Come on, man. But it has been they could do a whole lot worse than Gus Malzahn, Alan. A whole lot worse than Gus Malzahn. I think the Freeze-Falwell deal is already done at Auburn. And for those of you who are not playing along, Hugh Freeze is currently at Liberty University, whose former president, Jerry Falwell Jr., had to resign amid a sexual scandal. He likes to watch his wife with another man. And Hugh Freeze likes to buy hookers. Plus, I know people who had young athletes under Hugh Freeze, and he's not a good man. And I got chastised for a post on Twitter, and people can change. Yeah, people can change, but they still have to pay the price for prior acts. And I don't give two hoots in hell that Hugh Freeze bought hookers. But I do know from people in that program during his time there, he is not a good human being. It's all an act. But Malzahn will land on his feet. Tennessee's biggest problem is going to be money. Now, Butch Jones is supposedly is the new coach at Arkansas State, and I think he's got one more buyout check due, so they're out of that deal. And I don't know how much they're paying Jeremy Pruitt, but he has terrible assistants. He can do better. One, he needs to learn how to wear, it took him a while to learn how to wear a mask, because sometimes he ended up looking like Beavis and Butthead when they pulled their shirts up over there. Yeah. But just have to, they're not going to fire him. Guess what? We're back. We are back. But they're not going to fire Jeremy Pruitt. Okay. It's that simple. That's going to wrap it up. Those are just a couple of things I had on my mind today. Remember, 510 new cases, and it's time for Mayor Coppinger to get off the pot, close the restaurants or close the bars, and cut restaurant capacity of 50%. Okay? Until Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Apologize for the glitch, and I can hear myself on a monitor. So that is really messing with me now. I wanted to let y'all know what was going on. When the power died for just a second, it happens. So Thursday night, 7 o'clock, we will be back here with another Jump Into the Fire. Remember, always to be kind to each other. Good night.
That's all, folks.